Alright, looks like we've got ourselves a die roll. I didn't catch what they rolled, but
Well, they
PJ
with these
shook
dice,
his hand
I think
excited.
they rolled the same number.
Yeah, I think so as well. I believe that was a 3 on camera right there. And that was more than a 3, so I assume Raymond's going to start.
Okay. Yeah, we will see. I think the Tron deck is very likely to get turn 3 Tron.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the deck does, right?
With all the ancient stirrings and the Sylvan Scryings.
Yep.
The expedition maps.
Yep.
And I don't think on the draw PA has many shots to stop that, because he has 2 Field of Ruin, but they are too slow on the draw.
Yep. He might be running some sort of interaction with the early eggs and the map.
He has 1 Spell Snare.
Okay. 1
Spell Pierce. And some scribble number of Logic Knots. I believe it will be 2.
Right.
But yeah, that's I think for counter spells and interaction he's leaning a lot on Spell Queller. And Spell Quelling and what is it? Karn Liberated?
Yeah, it's not the greatest.
Gonna be difficult.
Yeah, that's true. Just for reference, we are not using the London Mulligan rule in this tournament. This is a paper tournament, so we'll be still, I believe it's the Paris Mulligan, where you draw 7 and then draw -1 card every time you mulligan and you get a scry. I do believe this game 1 is going to favor Raymond pretty heavily, especially on the play. As you said, there are the options for PA to interact with him getting Tron and deploying a big threat are limited. But we'll see how it pans out.
You can always have a lot of Wormcoil engines against a lot of Path to Exiles, which will be a game PA coming.
That is true. I'm looking over Raymond's list here. I'm not seeing that many special things in this list. There is a Ghost Quarter there to find in case he needs it. He's running 2 Olamogs, 2 Walking Ballistas, a World Breaker, some Wormcoil engines, of course Karn Liberated and Ugin the Spirit Dragon, and a lot of stuff to help him find his lands as we see this game get off.
Can we complain about wide-bordered Tron lands?
Yes, we can. But we do see Raymond deploying an egg.
This is
early on in the game.
Secretly really good for Raymond that he did not have to rely on a Sylvan Scrying, because I spotted the one of Spell Snare in PA's hand. But now he has Tron without ever casting a 2-mana spell. So.
Yep. Puts the star into play as PJ is cracking his Flooded Strand to fetch end of turn. And I think he'll realize right about now that this is a grim looking game for him. He just saw his opponent assemble Tron on the second turn. I assume this is going to be a lightning bolt, yeah. So we'll see Raymond going down to 17. 17. PJ cracking the fetch, also going to 17 life.
Yep.
It's an island passing, keeping up Logic Knot or some other kind of interaction, I assume, for the big threat that Raymond's going to try and deploy, assuming he has one.
Maybe it will just be that fabled turn 2 Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, who knows? There's the star. I assume it's making green, but we don't have the audio here. Usually does in the mono green deck.
It's a pretty good guess.
There's a Sylvan Scrying, which limits Raymond's options here. There's the Spell Snare. I think that's as good as the Spell Snare is going to get in this stage of the game.
The only realistic target left, I think.
But Raymond does deploy an Oblivion Stone, which is, going to be rough for PJ. I think PJ just passed the turn back.
Yeah, he missed the land drop.
So there's another Sylvan Scrying.
But it looks like Raymond doesn't have any threats.
He's not under any pressure to find them either, though.
I can wait forever.
That Oblivion Stone is the perfect proactive answer to the Geist of Saint Traps we did see in PJ's list, though, so he's not going to be too happy about that one. That's Sanctum of Ugin, I believe.
Yes, so if he has some huge threat, he can find another.
Yeah.
Even if the first one gets countered.
There is the Snapcaster Mage into play without casting a spell. In for 2.
The
Gotta
hard
start
way.
somewhere. So that leaves Raymond at 15 life. Putting the Fate counter on the Oblivion Stone.
Does that actually do anything?
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think it does actually do anything. Well, you have a fate counter there.
That is true. That is true. Let's see.
So there's the Sanctum of Ugin he searched for last turn.
That will allow him to create a chain of threats if he does find one.
Well, 1 extra.
Now, the Oblivion Stone activation requires you to sacrifice it in case you're destroying stuff, so the Fate counter doesn't actually do anything there.
Oh. This is gonna hurt.
That's a lot of mana. I assume that's 7. There's the Karn liberated, cracking the Sanctum of Ugin.
At least he gets to counter
Finding
his
another.
Karn, but next turn he is gonna lose his lands.
Yep.
And
Next turn he's going to lose his lands. And I think
probably
that's gonna
die
be
shortly after.
Yep, that's going to be a really hard game to win.
Unless he can find
If he doesn't have a land here, I think that's game. It's going to swing.
maybe he can find a fetch for Path to Exile.
I think that would be the best card here. Yeah.
Oh,
He scoops in response to
he's
the
not gonna
Ulamog.
bother.
In case you don't know, Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, exiles 2 lands on the cast. So whether or not PK has the counterspell for the Ulamog actually resolving, I think he knows he's not going to win that game without any lands in play. Looking down the barrel of 11 mana in the mono green Tron deck.
You can always try.
Alright, so that looks like we're going to be sideboarding here. Players will go back to 20 life each. And that will be 1-0 for Raymond. So I have the list of Raymond in front of me. I'm looking at his sideboard. Well, we talked about this being a decently favorable matchup up front. He has some Thrag Tusks, Spatial Contortion, Grafdigger's Cage, Surgical Extraction, and Thought-Knot Seer, and the Crucible of Worlds. I'm not that familiar with the Mono Green Tron, like I'm not quite sure what he would bring in. Looking at this list, what would you be looking for as a Tron player?
Well, if you're the first things first, we saw the Snapcaster mages out of PA in the first game, so you can bring in the Surgical Extraction and the Grafdigger's Cage. But personally, I wouldn't like that because I think it's not what the game is going to be about. However, if you're expecting in game 2 to get some of your lands blown up, to get your mana requirements interacted with, the slightly cheaper threats that are still going to get value, like the Thought-Knot Seer and the Thrag Tusk, might be good.
Yep. That does give PA a window, possibly, for his Spellcraft to gain more usage. Thought-Knot Seer obviously is something that makes Spellcrawler quite a lot better if it gets cast by Raymond. He did not see the Spellcrawlers yet. I think he's only seen Snapcaster Mage and the Lightning Bolt, which obviously you'd put your opponent on Jeskai without a doubt. But
he also saw the Logic Knot, so it can't really be, because that opening can be Phoenix with a terrible hand, I think.
Can it be Phoenix with white mana?
With a stray snap. I don't think he saw white mana.
No, that's true. That's true. So it could, yeah, that is correct.
But he also saw the Logic Knot, I believe, so that should give it away.
Yeah, because obviously the Phoenix lists have a hard time running Logic Knot if you need to delve for countering anything. You don't want to be delving away your Phoenixes.
Yeah, and in general, counterspells are not that good in the Phoenix list, because you need to, cast spells.
Well, you need to cast spells, but not
Preferably on your own turn.
Exactly, yeah, preferably on your own turn. Okay.
Um,
So what are we looking at for Paye's list?
for PA, did you read out the entire list? Right, so it doesn't matter. He also has some surgical extractions.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the only use I think for them is trying
Field of
to
Ruin?
Field of Ruin in Tron Land and get them.
Yep.
Uh,
Field of Ruin into surgical extraction. Yeah.
Exiling preferably Urza's Tower because it rubs the most salt in the wound.
We kind of skipped over this, but in case you don't know how the Tron deck works, you assemble 3 different kinds of Tron lands, Urza's Mine, Tower, and Power Plant, which individually only make 1 mana, but if you have them all 3 assembled, then they make, I think the Mine and the Tower, or the Mine and the Power Plant make 2, and the Tower makes 3.
Together they make 7.
Yeah, together they make 7. And obviously Field of Ruin, being able to destroy one of those lands in surgical extraction, taking them all out of the hand and deck of your opponent, hinders the Tron deck quite a bit.
A quick note before the game already started, but he boarded into Ceremonious Rejection, countering colorless things.
Yep.
And 1 Geist of Saint Traft for the extra pressure.
Yep, to make it go fast. This game not starting very fast. So far we have a Celestial Colonnade entering tapped, and Ancient Stirrings finding, I believe that was a tower. 2 lands for PJ. A white, blue, and a blue. So this time Raymond definitely has seen white mana. There's an Expedition map. Threatening to find the second Tron land if it resolves. It appears it does. And there's another map.
More maps. And
There's the Snapcaster.
Sadness.
Sadness Snapcaster. In for 2. Raymond going down to 18. I don't think he'll be very worried at this point in the game. But there's the Geist of Saint Traft, which is going to speed up the amount of turns that PJ will need to bring an end to this game rather quickly. Swinging in for 8 damage every turn.
I think I also spotted a Field of Ruin in PA's hand. So if I've seen that correctly, then I think the turn 1 Forest is going to be too slow for this game.
Yep. Raymond.
Because we could have Oblivion Stone next turn.
Yeah,
we could have Tron next turn.
Yeah, Tron into Oblivion Stone is probably what he needs here, to be honest, unless he brought in the Thrag Tusks. If that Geist and the Snapcaster get to swing once or twice, he might just die to the burn damage from the Jeskai deck. That is an egg.
If you have Field of Ruin, then there will be no Tron.
Yeah, then you're in a good spot right here. The Geist of Saint Traft makes a 4/4 Angel, and going in for a total of 8 damage here.
I think they're looking at the pile of tokens
if they
that
have
we
one.
provided for them, but no Angel.
No Angel so far.
It also should leave the battlefield. Yes.
There we go.
They can't hear us, by the way.
They
just,
can't.
Very smart.
So there's the Field of Ruin. We're going to see him go to his draw step. Yeah, there we go. Field of Ruining the tower.
You don't want to not do that before his main phase.
I guess there's always, with these kind of plays, the argument whether you do it in their upkeep or at the end of their draw step. I don't think in this case it matters that much.
Well, the plan for doing it draw step is that they draw the only forest that is left in the deck.
Yeah, but they have 4 more.
Yeah, but they or at least give them a higher chance to still draw the forest. So.
Yep.
Because presumably the forest is a bad draw. I don't know what they are...
I assume Raymond floated the mana,
debating,
and then he would like to activate his map, yeah. Finding a second Tron land alongside the forest he's going to get off the Field of Ruin.
Probably another tower. Said that just got destroyed.
Yep.
PA with some...
with a mountain.
What set is that?
Unstable, I think.
Oh, yes.
The latest unset.
Which we see mostly lands.
as with all unsets.
Could you name another card from that set?
The very cryptic command.
Okay. I think that's the reason why we mostly see.
Yeah, I think so as well. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, the other cards from that set are not tournament legal. There is the O-Stone, so Raymond gets to untap. He might have a chance at destroying Peye's board, but I think he's trying to find that lightning bolt that he needs to deliver 11 points of damage in this turn. Left the mountain untapped though, so might not have found it just yet.
I think he ripped the electrolyze off the top.
Okay.
Which
so
is also 10.
There's another 8, and the electrolyze will make 10. Off to game 3.
As long as he chooses somewhat reasonable targets.
Such as your opponent's face.
Yeah, well. Then the card you draw doesn't matter.
That is true.
So you can also do 1-on-1.
That is true. So the 1-1 coming in here, going into game 3. Raymond will presumably be on the play again.
Maybe with a turn 1 Tron land.
We'll see.
It's a lot faster than the turn 1 forest.
Yeah, we will see. So sideboards being grabbed, cards shuffled into decks. Perhaps we'll see some slight adjustments to the list, but I don't expect any major changes. We did not see any sideboard cards in game 2, did we? It was pretty fast.
No, I also don't think both players have many.
I don't think so either. Yeah, presumably some cards are coming out now, but I don't think we'll see a very different game 3 compared to game 2. I think the plans don't really change for either player. Raymond has seen the Geist now, and
maybe
he has seen white mana.
Surprises.
So if you put him on blue-red control, maybe, then perhaps he's changing up his sideboard now.
I don't think he has much to interact with Geist of Saint Traft. That is.
No, obviously the O-Stone is what you need there.
Yeah, though the Ugin also works.
That's correct.
It's also.
That is correct.
8 mana is somehow a lot more than 7.
Yep. So close yet so far away. I think that's something that Raymond is definitely looking for in his opening hand now, though, a way to interact with the Geist of Saint Traft. Geist of Saint Traft, although it does moderately well against decks with a lot of blockers, is a real powerhouse against these kind of decks.
Yeah, I think maybe the Totnot Seers and Tractus can help him there.
True.
But I think if you resolve a turn 3 card, your opponent doesn't get to guess Geist of Saint Traft. I think that's the easiest way to beat it.
Yeah, I think so too. If Tron does what Tron does, then the Geist of Saint Traft won't resolve when the Jeskai tempo player is on the draw. Unless obviously there's a logic not to meet the Karn.
Or one of the sideboard ceremonies rejections.
Yep. I don't see any of the accelerated Eldrazi lands in Raymond's list here, though. So the Thought-Knot Seer, at its best, is going to come turn 3 as well.
Yeah, I think the most important use for that card is just to still be interactive while you're trying to play the normal game, where you just get your lands out, get Field of Ruin, still get to play Magic instead of stare at your converted mana cost of 15.
Yep.
For a few minutes while you slowly die to, well, or quickly die to a 2-2 and a 2-1.
Yep. We'll see how it goes. I think PJ's deck went off screen there for a little bit. Might be something
It looks like
our judges are checking out, or... Oh, there you go. Raymond was just shuffling it.
Raymond stole it.
Shuffling it extensively.
Try to take out those guys of Saint Traft.
Alright. Mulligans for game 3. At least PJ is looking at his hand. Did Raymond go to 6 already? I didn't quite catch that. He is shuffling his deck though.
That I think your read is spot on then. PA is giving it a long look, which means absolutely nothing.
No, I don't see very proactive cards in his hand though. I'm looking at an island. I think I see a Restoration Angel in there and a Lightning Helix.
Oh.
Might be a Cryptic Command, but I think
Well,
that is too slow.
Doesn't matter.
I think PJ has come to the same conclusion that his hand was not quite good enough for this game 3.
It's always scary being on the draw against a deck that can punish you so heavily in the first few turns.
That is true.
But the Resto Angel?
I mean, did we see it in the list?
I didn't know. So
then I might have just been wrong.
That's most likely. Or I don't spot it on the list. There are 75 cards, you know.
Okay. So no Restoration Angel in the deck.
Probably not.
I've seen past iterations of this deck where you sometimes want to Restoration Angel the guys to Saint Draft to prevent it from dying, but that's usually in the creature matchups.
Yeah. I also think that those are the games you're losing. Or you just basically cheese them out of a game.
I mean, I've played this deck for a while as well.
Some bonus charm for free to the face.
I mean, in this deck, usually though, you're looking for like the extra bolt or the one or extra 1 or 2 damage, and that definitely does accomplish that. I mean, if you Restoration Angel the guys of Saint Draft, they don't have a way to deal with it. Next turn, you're hitting for 7 through the air.
That's also, you skipped your turn 3 and turn 4.
I mean,
basically doing nothing, but
looks like we have a game. Raymond hitting it off with a Tron land into Expedition map. Going to try and guarantee himself a second or third Tron land.
Ooh.
There's 2, which means Tron is coming turn 3.
Does PA as a signature card in the deck list this week? I really want to see someone get blown out by Shadow of Doubt. Like, end of turn, crack my Expedition map. Oops, I'll draw a card. You can't search your library. How unfortunate.
Oh my god, I would be so excited if that happened today.
But just to warn you, it's not on the list.
Aw, getting me all excited for nothing.
Oh.
There is an end of turn opt. PA, I assume he's trying to find some form of interaction towards his turn 3 card.
Get some cards
that he has to assume that's coming.
For
yep.
I believe I spotted another Field of Ruin, but well, first.
Yeah, first he has to survive this turn 3. Whatever threat is coming in.
He will need one of 4 cards here. Obviously, also Raymond mulligan to 6, so
might not have the threat.
What he has.
Might not have the
He
threat.
at least has Tron, but maybe it's just a Wormcoil engine that would be easier to answer.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that PJ is the least concerned with. The Wormcoil engine with paths in his deck. Here's a Thought-Knot Seer though. Might prompt a response, but we'll see. Marco will be playing, I believe, 6 rounds?
7 rounds.
7 rounds with cutoff to top 8. Fetch shock without losing life. Thank you, chat, for reminding me that I have forsaken my duties of keeping life totals right here. He went fetch shock opt, which made him go to 17. He's fetching right now. Let me wait what he finds with that. Definitely currently at 16. There we go. Finding a plains. So no Logic Knot coming out here. But there is the Snapcaster Mage.
Ooh.
Without flashing back a spell. And a Cryptic Command in PJ's hand being exiled to the Thought-Knot Seer. Revealing only lands.
He just wanted, well...
I assume he wanted
He still lost a Cryptic.
Yeah, but I assume he just wanted to get rid of a target for the Thought-Knot Seer.
But he still had one. Because now the Thought-Knot Seer ate the Cryptic Command instead of the Snapcaster.
Yep.
The Snapcaster doesn't really get you anywhere against the 4/4.
Not unless he draws like a Lightning Bolt or something, and then you're basically 2-for-1ing yourself.
doesn't seem like a great position for PA.
Although he does have the Field of Ruin here. Coming in during the draw step.
Always going for the tower, always.
I mean,
What if they have another tower? Would
he'll
you read
make it, man.
into the order of Tron lands they played?
Whew, that is a tough question.
Wonder.
I'm not that good of a poker player, to be honest. I'm not that into reading people.
It hurts so much if you're wrong, though.
That is true. If he just plays another tower here, then you're going to be kicking yourself. The Field of Ruin brought in an island, though. So not quite having the magical plains open for Path of Exile you might have drawn. Ancient Stones will probably find either a threat or the missing Tron land here.
Well, it's the tower. Unless that other white-bordered card is also a tower, then all bets are off.
We'll see what Raymond reveals here.
I think Raymond already had the other tower, because he's
Getting a look at...
really long and hard about this.
Revealing... what's that guy called again? A World Breaker. That's the one, yes. Being able to exile a land. Getting in for 4 with Thought Not Seer. But yeah, going down to 12. Keeps going after the tower, better to go after the others. All depends on what your opponent has. There is a Sylvan Scrying finding the tower here, so...
Luckily no Spell Snare, Spell Pierce.
True.
Or, well, he basically saw the hand, so... PA is not trying to set up a trade with
nope.
With the 4/4.
I think he's in a pretty bad spot here, but if you're trying to win, you might as well get in for some damage.
Yeah, he has another Field of Ruin.
Might delay Raymond even further here. Going after, I think that is a power plant. These arts always confuse me.
I used to have a set of Tron lands, but they were all from Antiquities, I believe they are printed in or something.
My favorite.
So I had the 12 different
oh, yeah.
pictures. Never really got to confuse people outside of Pauper.
Alright.
I think Raymond is fully stocked up on Tron lands.
Yep. 3/4 in play though. PJ going down to 8 here, I believe.
Oh, ooh.
That is a Thragtusk.
At least we agreed on sideboarding.
That is true. Gaining him 5 life, I believe?
Yeah. Well, more importantly, presenting lethal.
Another blocker and lethal.
Well, we have the Snapcaster Mace to jump. Then maybe the Electrolyze to... Oh, what is he doing? Oh.
I think that was nothing from PJ. Blocking the Thragtusk, taking 5
I thought it was
here.
a gesture like, oh, I'll take everything.
There is an Electrolyze going after the Thought Not Seer. PJ will be going down to 3 from the damage from the Thragtusk.
Well,
here,
not
though.
yet. He gets to draw from the Electrolyze. If it's Path to Exile, then he can
That is true.
answer the Thragtusk.
But that doesn't look like that happened.
The Thought Not Seer should die, but...
The Walking Ballista will finish the job here, but the Thought Not Seer did die. Which means Raymond won this game 2-1. And will be going into round 2 with 3 points.
Rough start for PA, but I think he anticipated this outcome on turn 1 of game 1.
Yes, I think so as well. This is a notoriously rough matchup if you've ever played a tempo deck. I believe, especially for the Jeskai lists, where it's just really hard to present enough of a threat before the Tron player gets to deploy his really big cards. In comes the match flip. Thragtusk